Quebec. Goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing absolutely fine. As you all know, we have different immigration programs for getting permanent residency for Canada. One is our Quebec Immigration, Quebec Experience Class Program, also known as PEQ in French. Recently, we had a lot of new changes in the Quebec Immigration Program, and I wanted to highlight some of those changes or some of those updates so that you know what is coming in the next year or this year, so that you are aware of how these changes will affect you. And if you are coming to Canada, or if you are still thinking of immigrating to Canada, then you can plan your decisions or next steps accordingly. To start with, you should follow me on Instagram because you are missing out on a lot of updates. Whenever there is any update, whenever there is any CEC draw, I try to post it on my Instagram. Even if there are few jobs available, like I get to know about any jobs that are available in any parts of Canada, I'll post it there. So if you're not following me on Instagram, your choice. Okay, the ID is Rahul__Midha. Link will be in the description of the video. Do check it out. For the Quebec Immigration Program, if you are having no idea, don't worry. By the end of the video, you will gain some clarity on how the program works and how it will affect you. Now, Quebec has its own programs and set of requirements. If you fulfill those requirements and if you gain acceptance from the Quebec government, then you can go on for applying under IRCC. That's the process, and that's how you get the permanent residency. And that's how you will be eligible to work in Quebec. If you don't know, let me tell you, Quebec is a French-speaking province. That means that a lot of people in Quebec, for example, in cities like Montreal and all, people are speaking French. Most of the jobs will require the candidate the ability to speak French, read and write especially, or even speaking, right? So if you don't know French, it will become difficult for you anyways to apply for most of the jobs. But other than that, that is the first requirement for Quebec government, that you should know French. And that's why you must have heard that people living in Quebec are learning French. So earlier you need to have the basic French skills, but now there are some changes in that we will discuss in the later sections of the video. So talking about the changes, what all changes are expected? The first change is the work experience. So earlier, foreign workers who are residing in Quebec, who are working in Quebec, and also the students who are studying in Quebec, they can apply for the permanent residency after gaining 12 months or 1 year of work experience. But now it has now changed to 36 months or 3 years of work experience. That means that you will have to work for 3 years and the last 4 years time period in order to be eligible to apply for the permanent residency. That's a very big change, and I believe that will affect a lot of foreign workers living in Quebec at the moment. And the changes are not in effect, so that means that changes have not taken place yet. They might take change next year. So this is a proposed change, and that will surely come into play. So these changes will come into play next year. So anyone who is applying for permanent residency, who is living in Quebec at this point of time, I feel that they are very lucky. And the amount of time that it will take to transition from the previous 1 year work experience requirement to the 3 year work experience requirement will allow the foreign workers to apply for permanent residency in the meantime. But whenever the change will come in effect, then it will really become difficult for people to gain permanent residency quickly, because that's additional 2 years of work experience. That's a lot of time. Now, talking about the international students particularly, and some of the programs for PEQ, they were not required to have any work experience in order to apply for PEQ. So there was an advantage that bachelor's and master's graduate program or graduate students coming out can directly apply for PEQ, but now the mandate for international students to have a work experience is also coming into place. So that means that any international students doing their bachelor's or master's will need to have 12 months of work experience, and any other graduate programs students will need to have 24 months of work experience. That's again a very big change. That means that no international student can now apply for PEQ without any work experience. And the work experience has to be in NOC 0, A or B. So depending on in which program they are enrolling in, they will need to have work experience based on that. That will be 1 year or 2 year based on their programs. So that's another big change. Now the next question comes in from various students is, should our work experience is mandatory to be in the field of education? The answer is NOC 0, A or B can vary from your field of education. But if you are working under NOC C, your work experience should always in line with your field of education. Now coming on to the French language test part, earlier certificate of success was acceptable. Generally, everyone was able to get certificate of success who was having basic command and French, but now this will not be accepted and you will have to give the French language test in order to be eligible or in order to apply for the permanent residence program. And not only this, the spouses of the primary applicant will also need to give the French language test, and they need to score at least level 4 in the oral score so that they can easily adapt to the culture and they can easily adapt and go out and talk to people and can live comfortably. Not only this, earlier the processing time for the application or for the Quebec government to answer any of the application was 20 to 30 days. That's like maybe within a month. But now that will increase to 6 months. That's 180 days. That means that just to hear back from the Quebec government on your application, it's gonna take 6 months. And then when you hear a result from Quebec government, then you can go ahead and can apply for your permanent residency under IRCC. Well, that's a lot of time. That will surely increase your total processing time for your permanent residency application. And that's again a very big update from the Quebec government regarding this program. So in order to give you a general idea, whenever you will apply for PEQ, whenever you hear a result back from Quebec government, for example, you hear a positive response back, then you get a Quebec selection certificate, and assume you get a positive response and you have the Quebec selection certificate in your hand in 6 months, then you apply for your paper application to IRCC for permanent residency. Now that can take up to 18 months. So that's a 2 year of processing time that you are looking at after you gain all your work experience. Now, just in order to apply for the permanent residency, people will at least need 4 to 5 years. For example, they are studying for 1 to 2 years. That is the master level program and not even the bachelor's program that I'm talking about. If they study for bachelor's, take it as 4 years and then add a year or two for the work experience based on which program you are enrolling in, and then again 1 to 2 years for the processing time. So even if you are going out for a master's program, I can roughly give you a 5 years of time frame. That's the minimum time frame that it will take for you to gain your permanent residency status under the Quebec Immigration, and that's a master level program. If you count in for the bachelor's, add 2 to 3 years for that. All these changes will make the process very long, and not only long, not only time consuming, it will also make the process very difficult. It's really gonna be very difficult in terms of you will need to have work experience, you will need to have a good French ability and you can speak French, you can write French, you will have, that's a mandatory French language test that you need to clear. I heard from some of my subscribers who are there in Montreal, they're having difficulty just in getting that certificate of success for French. Now, in order to get that French language test, you have to really devote your time and you need to be committed to learning French. Government really wants people to learn French. They know French in and out so they can converse easily, and even if they are applying for jobs, they are not having any difficulty in that area. That will surely make the process very, very difficult. Now, again, the processing times, all these things, if we combine them, the process in all will become very difficult. Now, comparing it with the Express Entry program that we have, for Express Entry program, many students who are coming in any of the provinces other than Quebec, they will enroll for 2 years of master's program, for which they will get 3 years of postgraduate work permit. In their 3 years of postgraduate work permit, they can work for 1 year, gain Canadian experience, apply under CEC. After 3 years, they are eligible to apply under Express Entry, for which we are hearing results in the normal times, not in the COVID times, in under 6 months. So in 3.5 years, you have permanent residency in hand. I'm pretty sure many of the colleges, universities in Quebec are not going to like all these changes and updates, because many of the students will now think twice before going to Quebec and not to any other provinces. Because with education, you always have the permanent residency in your mind, that we want to have the status in our hand as soon as possible. But if it's taking a lot of time, but if you feel that there are a lot of constraints, you really have to think twice before making this decision, because a lot of money is involved, a lot of hard work is involved. So always think twice, and let me know if you have any questions. So if you have any questions, do let me know in the comment section below. And if you like the video, do hit the like button, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel for more updates about immigration. Have a nice day, stay safe. See you in the next one. Bye now.